Where, as you think about your own journey,
Hmm.
where has food been transformative for you, and even then, where has it been harmful at times, maybe, or destructive, if you have those stories?
Oh my gosh, Andrew, I wish I'd known about that question. Yeah. So we didn't have a lot of money growing up. My mom, my mother, she was a single mother um, for most of my childhood, um, and things were hard. I mean, it was tough, and I think as it is today, unhealthy food is cheapest, right? And it's sad to say that, and I don't mean that in a political way at all. I just mean to say that you can fill a belly with flour, and it's not necessarily the healthiest thing. Um, and so for me, I can remember being young, and really food played zero part in my life at all, um, until I got out on my own and I got to choose what I would eat. And as a matter of saying, oh, I can afford to choose these things, I ate too much, or I ate unhealthily. So I can remember times in my childhood where we had powdered FDA, uh, government eggs and government peanut butter and government cheese, which is fantastic cheese, by the way. It's like perfect, and they don't make it anymore. But there came a time in my adult life where I was going to prove that I wasn't what my self image of me was. And so I indulged in equally unhealthy eating habits. And I used food as a way to self medicate a lot of times too, um, which, man, just led to all sorts of disappointing results, not just physically, but eating out. I was harder on the servers because I had put all this weight on this dining experience that the server had to be perfect, or else they had ruined this experience. Um, or this $30 steak had to be absolutely perfect, or they had ruined this experience. There was no real dining for the sake of enjoying the meal. It was me trying to fill this um, void of identity at the table. And I think that maybe there's a greater expression in that too, because as I've become more mature, like now when I go out to restaurants, I often don't read the menu. I'll ask the server to surprise me with something or just to bring me something, because I want to be served. I want to take what's given to me and be grateful for it. I want to eat from a place of contentment, and I want to dine from a place of contentment. And in the same way, um, as I began to have a family, I put these extraordinarily unreal expectations upon my wife, to have this meal made, or to make sure our kids were eating this or that, as though other people were seeing what we were eating. And I'd have to be ashamed to say that, I fed my kids ramen noodles when that was really all they wanted. They wanted dino chicken nuggets.
Yep.
And, you know, and by the way, I wish I had a dino chicken nugget here in Brazil. I don't. Um, so I think in so many ways, my growing up years and experience with food created some maybe unhealthy expectations of what food was supposed to do,
Hmm.
that I had to relearn as I matured in my adult years. And yeah, I'd like to say that I've solved all those issues and unpacked all those bags, but I seem to fill them up every now and then with, you know, Doritos and whatnot. But yeah, I think I've taken a different mentality to the table and to consuming now than I used to have. So I'm not binge eating to satisfy the sadness, or I'm not
Hmm.
eating unhealthily to self medicate in some unhealthy way.
So, what would you say it then is guiding your eating habits? If it's Yeah, if it's not binging and it's not looking for satisfaction, psychologically, spiritually,
Yeah.
what
Well, now it's
guides?
yeah, my hunger, my actual hunger
Yeah.
guides it now. I mean, I usually, there are all sorts of opinions, and my goodness, I don't, want to hurt anybody's feelings about when I ought to eat or not eat. But I think I've just become so accustomed to eating at the normal times that, I thought, oh, well, it's breakfast time. I need to have some breakfast. And I would have breakfast and not even be hungry.
Hmm.
And I found myself really recently here in our ministry. We were praying and fasting to raise a certain amount of money to buy some land to move and to begin ministry in this neighborhood. And we'd begun this 40 days of prayer and fasting. And we'd also engaged in prayer and fasting with our local church here, and fasting for other reasons as well. And what I found in those times of fasting was that um, I was really more content than
Hmm.
I thought I was.
Hmm.
That I really wasn't as physically hungry as I had thought I was. And now, when I am hungry, it might be, not until noon or 1 in the afternoon. It might be the only meal I have, but I'm so much more grateful as I'm eating. I find it easier to be thankful. I find it easier to
Hmm.
reflect and be and thankful for what I am eating. But I also am able to enjoy it so much more.
Hmm.
Like today, I made for myself a hamburger, and and I didn't just make a hamburger and have a bun and smear it with stuff and do it. Um, I began by making my patty
Hmm.
deliberately while my pan was heating up, and I used coarse ground salt, and I let the pan heat up well with a little bit of oil, added some butter, put the burger on, reduced the heat, covered it, and then I worried about toasting my bun. And I toasted my bun and I pulled it off and I wrapped it in foil so it would stay warm while it was there. And then I began making an egg on the side to put on the burger. And I have this cheese, which is native to this region of Brazil. Um, and I had shredded a little bit of it to put on the burger and on the bun. And I was very deliberate. It took me about 20 minutes to make the burger.
Right.
And I wrapped it all in foil, constructed, on the bun and everything, wrapped it back in the foil and let it rest for about 3 minutes. And it stayed warm. And then I sat down with my water and um, ate my burger and read the book of Ephesians.
Hmm.
And it was really, really good.
Yeah.
um, and and yeah, I probably won't be hungry again until later today.
Hmm.
And so, in many ways, I just think my perception of food has changed from this thing that I have to have to this thing that I get to have.
Hmm.
Um, and I get to choose. I mean, oh my goodness, how blessed am I that I actually get to choose what I'm going to eat? Unlike some people that I've lived with in Mozambique who don't get to choose.
Right.
They get what they get. Period.
Yeah.
What they can catch from the ocean, what they can collect at low tide, or what they can literally afford. And it yeah. So I would say that in my, I don't want to say maturity because I'm definitely not mature, but as I have matured and am maturing, um, yeah, the Lord has really changed my heart for food, and it's not that I don't enjoy it, and still, don't crave certain flavors, right?